Hello and welcome to the Be Your Own podcast. I'm your host, Samana Duran, and founder of Be Your Own, the global media hub of all things entrepreneurship and career navigation. As you know, this podcast is all about highlighting incredible women out there doing awesome things. Wow, so we're actually almost halfway through the second season already, and I'm super excited. I'm always super excited. But today's guest is really awesome, and we've worked a lot together in the past at Be Your Own, and she just keeps shining. She's always onto brilliant things. I know she's recently had a baby. I'm just so keen to find out how she's, juggling motherhood and being a career boss woman. So today we have Natalie Kiran, who's based in Toronto and is the founder of Holistic World and also the co-founder and creator of The Wellness Market, the creator and mentor of the 8-week program Healing to Begin, Breaking Through to Rise, and a pace setter within the wellness community. Just to give it a little bit more context, Natalie is passionate about coaching entrepreneurial women to discover what is holding them back from achieving their highest goals and aspirations using her background in holistic health, spiritual counselling, energy healing, and sacred womb healing. Hi Natalie, thanks for joining us today on the Be Your Own podcast. I think my first question is we've just come out of our second lockdown phase, and you're based over in Canada. How are you coping over there?
I love working remotely. I love the freedom. I love that I can just do this anywhere, anytime, anywhere, because I'm such a free spirit that way. So in terms of COVID, it's sort of the same. Nothing has really hindered my business. If anything, there has been so many more women reaching out and booking calls with me because what this pandemic has done, it's created such a shift in everybody's life. So, and I really just think also it's such a deep reflective piece of what's working in businesses, but also what's not working in personal life. And even if they did have a job and, all the hustle and bustle and that rat race that we were all sort of in was just stopped. So everyone was kind of had this time to evaluate. So that's kind of where I step in my business, is to just help them and guide women to just be more free in their life and find their freedom and their highest potential. So in my business, it's kind of the same. It's been, there's been a lot more growth, but the unique part of it is that I gave birth to my son when it really was in the heat of everything, when everything was shutting down. So I went on maternity leave anyways the last three months, kind of even just working a little bit, on a couch, breastfeeding and half asleep and sleep deprived and all of that, my business was still thriving. So I sometimes wonder, what would have happened if all this occurred and I didn't have my son. So what business would have been like, but not in any regret or any way at all like that, just sort of curious. But so I'm returning and I have, my clientele is full and I feel really, really blessed that way. So, but it's also shown me, what I want to bring more of and what I'm really passionate about. So I really want to start opening up my doors to, yes, female entrepreneurs is who I've been working with, but just all women in general, because the conversations I've had and the calls that I've had with women have just been so inspiring. And, all over the world, these calls are coming in from. So I just feel such more connected. I feel like the pandemic has done something in such a way where we're separated by social distancing, but come together in a way where we're all going through something at one time, the same thing at one time, and we have mutual feelings. So I've kind of seen this sort of global connectedness and growth, which I feel really lucky to experience.
I think it's just making a lot of people question what they really want from life right now, because it depends where your happiness is at. Mine is just inner peace. As long as I have inner peace, I'm happy. But again, it really just depends on what you're striving for.
Yeah, there's definitely that whole piece to it too. So I think there's a blessing in everything. It's just what this has, I guess, presented to each of us in our own story in a different way. Yeah. So I really agree to that. I haven't connected with too many people, so maybe I haven't, seen that side of it where there is, a deep loss. But over here, they're doing a fantastic job with grants and helping people out. And, I think our government's giving amazing grants to everybody. So per month, and we were, we were almost thinking like, well, where's all this money coming from? But, they really stepped up, and I feel really blessed to live where I live. But yeah, there is that whole piece, and such a big shift, I think, is happening on such an energetic level. So I think there's also an unknown piece to all of this.
So I know a huge congratulations is in order for the birth of your son. So congratulations. So since we last spoke, which was roughly about 6 months to 9 months ago, I think it was, what's changed? How are you adapting, and how are you balancing life now, being a parent?
Oh my gosh, balance is the name of the game right now for me. It's been honestly very challenging in moments. I think in the early weeks it was really challenging. You're so sleep deprived. Well, at least I personally was. Everyone warns you about it, but you don't really know what it's like until you're in it. But I really had a moment of, it's either you kind of let this deplete you and overtake you, or you do something every day that brings everything into balance. So I chose the latter, and I really, I moved my body, and I find movement to be so balancing. So, and I chose to do something every day still for my business, whether it was in the middle of him breastfeeding, just sending, a few quick emails, or doing something on my social media page, just doing something. And when I did that one little something, it really brought my life back, if that makes sense. I know it's this isn't a motherhood podcast, but it's a big piece of the balance. And I don't know if anyone else can relate to when you're just kind of stuck, or you feel a lot of resistance in your life when it comes to your business. I just think that sticking to that moral and that value of just showing up, doing one thing a day at least, and being consistent really makes that difference and really helps bring that balance. So that's what I chose to do. And I found that made the world of a difference. And I've, like I said, it's brought me clients, and I feel very, very blessed.
Before we get on to your time at university and then working at one of Toronto's best PR firms, can you talk us through your journey and how you got started with Holistic World and where you are today with the wellness market?
Yes, of course. So I was in school, and it was just a wealth of knowledge that was coming my way, and I felt so inspired. So I just felt I'm going to share the knowledge that I'm learning in school, and I know it'll help people. And if something catches on, it catches on. And I was just really aiming for, I guess, something really more intimate and personal in terms of a business. Just seeing clients, having a space locally, and just working my way that way. But then, opportunities I find in business, entrepreneurship, I find there's a lot of consistency in showing up, and a lot of alignment that just sort of happens. So an old friend reached out to me and said, I'm starting my own little business. I help social media accounts grow, and I help businesses grow. And we just connected. And then from there, I really shaped my business into what I wanted it to be. So an online community that helps women reach their highest potential, supports them every day, and just a place that they can come, feel inspired to live the life that they really want to live, and find the freedom in there every single day. And if that means, starting their own business because they have a really big passion that they want to share too, or just, finding their purpose in everyday life and in business that they're already in, or just if they don't work and they're just living freely and doing their thing, supporting them that way too, to just find their whole spiritual identity and center. And that's where I have a more spiritual aspect when it comes to running my business. So it was a mix of inspiration and, synchronistic opportunities that I just said yes to, and building it into what it is now. I can't even imagine. I wouldn't have ever thought that it was ever going to be this way, or be how it is now. And then I think to bridge everything together, because there is the online aspect, which I kind of found, I'm a very warm person. So I needed that human person to person connection. So what I did was I started something called the Wellness Market, which was also just by fluke. Both my things were by fluke. So this was because I graduated from school and I just wanted to share with friends and family, this is what I'm doing. I said to everyone in my class, I'm going to do a little event. You set up a booth, and we'll have a yoga class, we'll do a meditation, and we'll just invite our friends and family to just kind of celebrate that we graduated and this is what we're doing now. But it really turned into the Wellness Market, which is now twice a year in Vaughan, which is north of the city, and in the city Toronto, is a bunch of small run businesses come out, set up a booth. We have yoga classes, we have wellness classes, we have wellness discussion panels, a meditation station that's so popular, and people come out and celebrate a day of wellness, and they get to see all these small businesses and what they have to offer in the wellness world. So new stuff that's been in the wellness industry for a while, that's really popular, and it's just amazing. So we have that community feel, and I have the best of both worlds. So it was intentional, but like I said, a lot of it was by luck, by fluke, and just following what I was really passionate in the moment and being super present in my everyday.
But what was the overall deciding factor as to why you didn't push that as your career avenue?
That was a really hard moment in my life. I was in an internship right out of school. It was a part of my program was to finish an internship. To graduate, I needed a certain number of hours, so you have to apply to different PR companies, and I got into one of the best ones in Toronto, and I thought I was going to love it, and I didn't love it. And I liked it, and I was really good at it, but I didn't love it. It wasn't fueling a part of my soul that I really needed to feel whole and complete. So they offered me a job, and I basically said, thank you really very much. But I just went back to school, and I said, I want to make my happiness now, my forever right now, because I thought, okay, if I make money in the PR industry, make some really good connections, I can start my own thing, when I'm 40 or 45. And I thought, well, why do I have this, this sort of idea, this sort of condition or rule that I'm setting for myself? Why can't I do it right now? So I went back to school and pursued all of that right away. But it was really challenging because it's such I almost kind of feel that in those moments, I don't know how, your environment is, but here that's where you're guided by, I guess, society is to just, go to school, get a job and do your thing. I think entrepreneurship is not something that was really encouraged in my personal surrounding. So I felt almost like the black sheep kind of going against the herd, and, families and friends sort of had this sort of resistance that they were showing me, saying, well, it's really hard to do this and whatever. So, but you just have to, I've just pushed through, really. But yeah, that's why it was so hard for me. But I'm just, again, so happy that I just did my thing and walked my own path. At the end of the day, it usually always seems to work out.
Are you still part of a Sacred Women's Circle, or do you still run those groups?
That was early on in my business. I used to build up my community when I was initially starting out. I used to host Sacred Women's Circles.
Wow.
And it's beautiful and magical, and I really do miss it. Yeah, I don't have the time, and which is unfortunate because I love them. I really love them, and I miss them. And women still reach out about them. Like, are you still doing them? So now I'll go and I'll join in on one just to get, my connection, my little fix in that arena. But I'm hoping that at some point I can open that up again in maybe a bigger way where more women can come out, because I had a very small space that I was working in. So maybe in the form of a retreat or something where it's a really big, deep healing program, because my community of women has grown so much. So maybe I'll host a Sacred Women's retreat, which would be just a dream. So, but yeah, that was such a beautiful experience. They're sometimes really hard to find, but once you find a core group that meet all the time, they're usually consistent. So I think it's just a matter of digging a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. So what have been the biggest professional challenges that you faced then, if any, or even personal challenges? I know we've mentioned juggling motherhood, but what would you say, what barriers have you had to face and overcome, and how did you do it?
I found my biggest personal challenge was lessening the voices externally through growing my business. There are some people that can be very opinionated, or because of what's going on within themselves, they're fearful and they care about you a lot, and they're worried about your success and how your life will turn out, which is such an amazing thing, because that means you have people that love you. But I struggled with listening to my own voice versus listening to my external social group. So in that case, that was one of my biggest challenges, was finding my voice, empowering my voice, and really having it follow through into my business, because it's such a key role, and something I help women do today is finding their empowered voice to create the life that they want to create, and love it, and kind of silence the noise and really show up to be their own best friend every single day. Because that was really a name of the game for me, was the self-doubt piece, where entrepreneurship and starting your own business, there's a self-doubt piece. Can I do it? Will I do it? There's moments of that, and in those moments it was me constantly practicing, girl, yeah, you can do this, let's do this, and just keep going, and keep reminding myself and being my own best friend and cheering myself on. So it's the self-talk piece that I had to practice, and now that it's practiced, I teach other women, so I feel how to do that too. So I feel really blessed in that way.
If we move on to the wellness market, let's talk about the team behind you. Is it just you and your co-founder, or is there more people in your team?
Two for the wellness market. Yeah, just actually, it's the other co-founder is one of my best friends from high school, and we bridge our specialties together. And it's amazing. And then we have a beautiful assistant, Amanda, who's in Toronto, works remotely. And but we're bringing on more people. This is the year, because we're having one of our bigger shows in Toronto in May 2021. So we're trying to grow our team right now a little bit.
Have you faced any challenges when it comes to running a business with your friend, though?
No. And, when we first started this, me and her even had that chat, like, okay, well, let's see but we just, I don't know. It works. I don't know how. I actually tried to start a business with another friend, and we had to stop because it was really starting to get in the way of our personal friendship. So we chose our personal friendship over that. But I totally see the challenges, but for some reason, I don't know if it's a meant to be thing or things are just aligned in a certain way. But with her, it brought us closer.
Now you focus more online. Would you say that's a result of making sure that your clients and prospective leads and clients know exactly what it is that you're offering?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think when I really focused on the online aspect, and just implementing different things, different offerings that help support my community, I think that's really was the game changer for me, in terms of how it was modeled. So that was a big thing, but really focusing on the wellness market. I really want a space for small businesses, especially now, more than ever, to come out and create a space where people are coming to see them, really interested people are coming to see them. It's part of their target market, and bring a whole community together that I think really needs each other now, more than ever, but always. So really, I think a new launching piece was just I did actually create 2 new programs. They seem like they've been there forever, but so I guess that's why I almost forgot to mention. But I've created 2 programs that are more defined into how to help female entrepreneurs really grow, really find their truth, really find their empowerment. So there is an 8-week program, and then there's a graduate program to that, which is 12 weeks. And it's just working more personal with me, and one-on-one mentorship. And these women have just done incredible things with their businesses. So yeah, that's been a big piece that I've implemented into my business, which I'm really proud of.
Are you still using the chakra and energetic assessment? Have you
Yes.
moved on
So
from that?
instead of doing them one-on-one in a room where just where my practice did start out, I've had them integrated into the program when we, as like our first session. So we do an energetic reading and just to see where, where they're at. And then we kind of just take away all the layers, find out what's really holding them back through working with chakras and energy and mixing it all together with the entrepreneur and business side and really helping a woman be uncaged, find her freedom. And I think all those pieces, that holistic piece, which is my background, is how we kind of, I don't want to say tackle it, but I want to say how the viewpoint that we have, the perspective from all angles. And that's what I really have found helps women thrive. We're made to run empires, in my opinion. We have everything within us. It's just a matter of letting it come through, taking away those pieces that hold us back, those energetic layers, those puzzle pieces, and putting them all together in a way that is meant to create and thrive and live. And I really do think that we're just built for entrepreneurship. That's my opinion. So that's why I guess I focus on female entrepreneurs. But yeah, it's a beautiful journey witnessing it. I don't look too much into other people. And the reason being is because I did at a certain point in my business. I look at other things, but very briefly, just to get a sort of sense of what I need to do next. But I found that when I started to look at other businesses, for me personally, I started to compare, and that was starting to see what I was lacking versus what I already have. So just in order to stay competitive, what I do is I just take a little peek, and then I see if I need to shift anything. And I actually follow a lot of inspiring women, even clients of mine that inspire me, and I follow them on Instagram so that I can that align with me, so that I can sort of feel inspired every day in my moment to moment. And I think the biggest thing is I found that networking piece with the wellness market, which is why I love the blend of both, is when I meet with other small businesses that are local in Toronto and networking with them and connecting with them, I found that has been a really great piece to making a lot of connections in the wellness industry and in my world. So that I think is one of my bigger competitive, I guess, layers to my business, was the community aspect there.
There's definitely a lot to be said for making sure that you stay connected to your local communities and just networking with other small business owners and SMEs who share that same vision. Would you say you have more confidence in what you're building now, having weathered the storm and just realigning and recalibrating your focus?
I would say I have more confidence now.
Yeah.
Ever. Yeah. I don't know what really made that shift for me. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was my son or COVID or anything, but it's almost like when you are faced with a moment of possibly losing something, and I think that you really have a moment where a deciding factor where you're like, no, this is everything that I wanted and more, and I'm going to keep building and keep going, or you kind of let it fade away if it's something that doesn't align with you anymore. So that's what the experience has really done for me. So definitely more confident.
And apart from building a really solid community and making use of all the free marketing tools, what would be your one solid piece of advice for future female founders looking to launch a business as a takeaway?
I would honestly say the self-talk piece and the resistance piece. If you're fine with find yourself in a moment of resistance, to just keep going, keep following your voice, and keep kind of giving yourself that space every day to, drop into your body and really find a moment to find your voice and what's important to you and what matters to you, and align yourself every day with what you're passionate with. And I really do believe that, and I have seen it with women, that everything comes together in the end if you have that fortitude and that self-talk piece, and are working on that every day and showing up.
I think you can get absolutely anything you want out of life so long as you're passionate and you put your heart and soul into it. Thank you so much once again, Natalie, for joining us today on the Be Your Own podcast.
Thank you so much. Honestly, it was when I had the opportunity to come in my email inbox, I loved working with you before, so it was really a no-brainer for me. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening. Please let us know what you think of the show. Don't forget you can find us on both Instagram and Twitter at Be Your Own UK. Our email address is beyourown@beyourown.org, so make use of it and drop us an email with anything that you want to know. If you fancy reading pretty much all of the career navigation stuff we talk about here on the podcast, then head over to beyourown.org for exclusive content, interviews, tools and resources. And lastly, if you love the show, subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast, either on Stitcher, iTunes or Spotify. And that's it from me. See you next time.